Yeah, welcome to a new show of within our YouTube channel. Today in English, I have the honor to welcome Gary Quinn from Los Angeles, a really well-known, I would say, star life coach of Hollywood stars, of very rich people all over the world. Welcome, Gary, to this show.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Yes, thank you as well to come. And yeah, it's a lot of in this show. We will talk about his recently published book, How to Get a Business Guru, what that means. We will also touch a lot of issues, how he built up his global speaking and spiritual life coach business. We will touch a lot of important topic. So if you are a person interested in growing either in business or in spirituality, or you want to develop your life, then there is so much in this video. So stay tuned. So let's start now. I would like to introduce Gary right now. He's a best-selling author, all well-known all over the world with many books. He's a life coach of famous people, Hollywood stars, rich people all over the world, sometimes already also billionaires. So, my first question is, you published recently a book, How to Get Your Business Guru. What does this mean?
Well, I think during the last 4 years, everybody internally was going through something through their own life, whether they were at home or they were sequestered. And what the idea was that what I noticed with a lot of my company corporate people, they were having a lot of stress or anxiety. And so the book came because I noticed that the ones that I had been coaching that had been working on themselves, and this is the book, Become Your Own Business Guru, create a balanced and well-being, successful life with happiness, is really about, that is really the key. And what I talk about in the book and in my work is that your energy is your success. And so, people always want to be the best and create change for themselves. And they don't know that they have to start with themselves. And sometimes people look outside themselves thinking that it's the business, it's the prototype, it's their company. Basically, you can start in any degree of work and build your way up based on your energy. And I found that many people are looking for change, but they don't have any technique, they don't have any tools, or they don't know where to start. That's the key.
So I come to the following idea. Is there a difference between, well, business people, normal people, and famous and rich people in this aspect? So my question would be, do famous people, do they care more about energy?
What I found with all people, there's some people that are focused on just the money, but in the end of the day, when you break through to the energy of their authentic self, they're really the same, whether they're a celebrity, famous. And I coach children, I coach regular people. It's not that it's just business, but everybody has to look at themselves as a business. I would say there's no difference. They just have different degrees of energy. There's more of a creative energy in the entertainment world as opposed the business world. When I speak to business people who are corporate presidents or CEOs, they want to open their mind to be more creative, but they have a sense of being in a box. And so I think everybody has different degrees of how they're dealing with their lives or their work. And so it's really about how you customize my coaching and my work. And the number one thing is in any person that I coach, when I start with them, it's really about taking inventory of what
Mhm.
is really inside their minds and what they're thinking, and try to find the balance. It's really trying to find the balance to set themselves for creative change. And the creative change doesn't mean that they're a business person who's going to start, writing scripts or acting or singing. It's more about finding that happiness, joy, or that excitement of the passion of their authentic self. What got them into working with, properties or finances, or, taking over their father's business, or really deciding they want to be a huge success worldwide. Everybody has a choice. And I think what I do is I try to look at the bad habits that they
Mhm.
have and really start to find out what's holding them back in certain degrees. A lot of business people have issues with emotions, or that they are really searching for, if you ask a business person what really matters is the passion of life and love, they kind of get stuck because they do not know what that means. Where if you're asking them about four deals, and how do we invest the money in this and that, and what is the outcome on the stock market, they know what to say. So it's finding, my job is to find the balance. But at the end of the day, Christian, it's really about making the person feel excitement and happy with themselves, feeling good in their own skin.
Yeah, that's very important. So this lesson, how they get connection to their purpose, to their passion. This is really important. I see. But I want again talking about a little bit about this energy point, because when I look to you, you have as long as I know you, since so many years, always a very high energy state. So, my question would be, I mean, in the end, success, life success, all these aspects has also to do with the energy state in the end. So, and do you see here any difference also between, well, Hollywood people, which are, they're all what they in the end, their aura, their lightning. I mean, in my I think it's important, but do you see in practice differences how they think about it, between those famous people and managers or entrepreneurs, normal people?
Yes, I think they all have different degrees of motivation within themselves, of being happy in their energy.
Mhm.
Some of them work really hard, but they don't take care of themselves. And I think the main key is to find the balance with wellness. And
Mhm.
that means mind, body, and spirit are all connected. And that means that if you're not taking care of what you think and what you eat and what you exercise to motivate your body, you're basically going to run out of gasoline or
Yeah.
benzene at the end of the day, because you're not going to be able to keep the energy high. And the energy means natural, authentic energy. I'm not talking about, alcohol or drugs or anything like that. And I think, what you see in life is really what you get with people or individuals. I have repeat business all over the world because of my energy.
Mhm.
Everybody always gets a piece of my vibration, whether I'm doing a seminar, when I do one-on-one coaching, the energy is completely lifted after 2 or 3 sessions with a client. And I don't really know how it works. I think it's an internal gift that I am able to access this energy because I'm also connected energy wise, intuitively, to the universe, to
Mhm.
vibrational healing. And I'm constantly working on myself. It's a work in progress. And I think when you stop working on yourself, that's when you really stop living. I like to say, ready, set, take action. In the book, I
Mhm.
have steps at the each chapter. At the end of each chapter, it's actual things that you can do that move you out of your comfort zone and give you tips for setting goals to really start small, and even if you're, making an amass fortune, you still have to have a strategy, because every 3 to 6 months, you have to change your focus. Otherwise, you get into an old pattern, and then you get complacent in your life and you start to get, let's say, miserable because it's nothing new is happening. In order to have things new come to you, you have to create a plan of action and really, break down your goals into small steps and really say yes. I mean, in all my seminars around the world and all my coaching, the word yes really is important, because it's like a green light, giving
Mm.
yourself permission to move forward. When you see a green light, you say, okay, all over the world, it means go. It means, yes, affirmative. So I think it's really also being confident. Years ago, I had been coaching a gentleman who owned, he didn't own, he was the president of a big motion picture studio that had about 30,000 employees. And after working with him for a while, he started to reveal and trust me and tell me how scared he was of getting up every morning, because he was so afraid to be himself, because
Mhm.
he might say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing to get fired. And I really had to work with him very, very diligently to be able to break that habit, because he was taking a lot of medications to
Mm.
calm down, because he was so nervous or so anxiety stressed. And it all had to do with different energies. Another man who was quite known around the world came to see me, and very, he owned companies all over the world, and I made him cry because I took him back in the session as a little boy, and there was some healing that had to be done with him and his father in order for him to be authentic in opening up emotionally. See, he was super in all his business world, meaning he would excel in every way. But when it got to his personal self, he was really not in balance with where the other side of himself was. And he thanked me profusely when he came to see me. He didn't even know why he was here to see me. So I really like to empower people to break through, not have, and I talk about that in the book, to have a breakthrough, not a breakdown. I
Mm.
think a breakdown is when you stop and you say, oh, it's finished, I'm not able to move forward. And it's really, I want people to know that the goal is to remove any mental barriers in order to reach your potential, and really interject a part of yourself that's really part of you to create that potential. And the potential means that we strategize on what do you want to be, what do you want to have, and what do you really want to feel like. And in order to do that, we have to start with one of the biggest things that I start off with anyone in any business is to forgive the past. And they may say to me, well, I've forgiven the past, I've been in therapy for 30 years, I've already done that. But when we go into it deeply, they really have some things that aren't healed. So I just try to start off with that, because if let's say your closets at home are full of clothes and there's no space to
Mm.
achieve and receive new clothes,
Mm.
how you can't attract that, because the energy is closed. It's almost like I help people download old apps in their mind,
Mhm.
and then I upgrade new apps that they're
Mm.
able to reach their potential, have a winning attitude, staying authentic. I mean, these are all things that people have to practice authenticity to use the qualities in their own, let's say, life or their setting in their business to work with individuals. And remember, your reputation is based on you. If you damage your reputation, you've damaged your whole life, really. Nobody's going to take you
That is
serious.
so interesting. You work all over the world. Is there culturally, are there differences? So what are the difference between USA, people from USA, maybe Japan or Italy? Do you see there any differences?
Yes, great question. The cultural difference is based on when I coach business people. I have a banker I coach in Japan. And I also have different people from Switzerland and Italy. Those three are very separate because the culture in Japan is so different that there is not that sort of gung-ho, they call it an American, I can do anything attitude. It's more about, we just want to stay in our little box and not really excel. And over the years, I have a few that have stepped out of that box,
Mhm.
and they have gotten a lot of accolades to attract, but they also were schooled in America, so they were around it. But as far as the Italian culture, that's also a limiting work ethic that there's a certain, I don't know, there's a certain fear. It's more about power in a certain way. So there's different degrees. I find it very interesting. Many years ago when I used to go to Switzerland, I had business people, but it was the year that the banks had to disclose the earnings and the names of people. And I had a week of probably 4 to 5 bankers a day that I was seeing who were so fearful and stressed,
Mhm.
because usually when I've coached in Switzerland, everything is good. But for that reason, it had affected their business, and they were a little frightened about not only their career, but the outcome of the bank, because they had so many years working with them. So it's it's a sliding scale. You have to still use the authenticity, tips, because everybody goes through different periods in their lives. But yes, I have to customize my work when I'm in different countries,
Mhm.
because it's a different way of thinking. When I worked in Mexico City, it's a different culture.
Mhm.
And when I worked in Romania, in Bucharest, it's a different energy culture. So there's some similarities in
Mhm.
different countries, but basically it's a different, and it's, working with people from Greece, it's a very, for me, I find it very enlightening. It's
Mhm.
almost a university for me to work with different people from different countries. So yes, it is customizing each of their brands to where they are in their career and their business and their country.
We're now maybe in the middle of this episode, and I just want to say that there will be a second part. The second part is during the YouGrow Festival, and you find a link below this video, and you can click on this, and you can get free to this festival end of January. So click on the link and do this. And now we proceed. I have a next question. So as we see, you have so many experiences all over the world, and especially with celebrities and rich people. I think it's interesting what you personally learn from them about success or thinking about business. What could you learn from them? How do they think?
I think sometimes I learned that I am happy where I am in my life. And yes, there are goals that I want to meet, but some of the people, there's some unhappiness there.
Mhm.
And so and there's also some hard energy of situations that are shown to me through other people. And I think we learn from other people. So I am learning to really, I'm very compassionate
Mhm.
for each individual. I try not to judge anyone, and that's hard for everybody because we're always in judgmental, energy. But I think everybody has a journey, Christian. Everybody has a place of growth, and what I learned is that I'm okay. I'm good, and I'm really in gratitude to see that I'm in a happy place. There are other people that are less fortunate, and then
Mm.
there are people that are really fortunate. Um, and I've worked with some people that are really, really successful, but they're not happy.
Mm.
Um, so I think finding the happiness is really the true meaning. And that's what my next book is that I'm working on right now, is about true happiness and what that means. Yes, it's important that you have your brand, your business, you've built your career, but at the end of the day, are you happy about it? Are you excited? Yes, you have financial security, but you have to find the balance. And I talk about this in other areas of, I've been to sometimes when I go to Italy, and this is a great question when you asked me the earlier, I have dinner with, some longtime Italian friends that I've known for 40 years. And I was just in Rome and I had a pasta with them, and they were just so happy to share a dinner with me. And yes, they're not billionaires or millionaires. They're working class people that I've known for over 40 years. And they are so, the word is just alive and full of passion about life. It's not so much about, I have to have the Gucci watch, the Prada, the
Yeah.
this and that. Yes, that's great. I'm not
Mm.
putting that down. I'm just saying that authenticity of being joyful and happy with them in that moment is so important. Um, Years ago, I worked on an island. A client of mine from Australia brought me to an island in the Philippines called Amanpulo. And I'll never forget those people that worked on that island. They were so real and caring. And they came up every morning and they said, uh, can we're going to go fishing for the day. What would you like? Because basically everything was fresh, and they were so kind and so
Mm.
loving. And I said, where do you come from? Because this island was in the middle of nowhere, beautiful beach. It was about an hour flight from the Philippines to this sandy beach. And it's a five-star, resort, but very small. And these people came from an island by boat that was probably, they said, 2.5 to 3 hours by boat. On this island, they said there were about 100 people. They had no electricity, they had no cell phones, and they basically lived off the land. But they were so different in their
Mm.
vibration. And I'll never forget, it's like I really took away that piece of that energy of them to say, wow, that was so attractive and so alive. That's what life is about. So that's another thing I'm grateful to be able to learn that when I get to
Mm.
attend some of these events that I'm able to go to.
Very good answer. So you're saying basically beyond all levels, right? There is one or two things you cannot buy, and which is so it makes you really rich to yeah, to find your purpose, to live your purpose, to have a certain connection, and to live to live in all aspects with simple things. And here you can find joy. So great, great, great. So you worked with me 12 years ago I was trying hard during that time to make it better, to find my way, to find my purpose. I felt I was trying so hard. I was not relaxed. So I was in a position, I was successful, but I felt I can do better. I have more potential, and I couldn't find the right way to. I wanted, but it was not possible. So let's talk about the right moment in life. Do you have the experience also that sometimes someone like me, I tried during that time very hard, and maybe it was just not the right moment to open the doors and you know what I mean? What is about
Yes.
the right moment in life when the door opens and the things come to flow?
I think, great question. I think when a person finds the right teacher, sometimes the teacher gives them the information, but there's a resistance to change, or the timing wasn't right. And I call that divine right timing.
Mhm.
That um, that sometimes I've had a client, it took her 10 years to finally understand what we were talking about. She disappeared for 9 years and came back and started working with me after 10 years. And I've had that with people. I had someone find me, Christian, 20 years later. She tracked me down and said, everything you told me happened. And I had such resistance to it. And once I let go of that energy of trying to control it all happened. And she came back to me, I think 2 years ago. And so I think where we are in our lives is also the right timing. So even if it takes a month, 6 months, a year, 10 years, 12 years, the good news is you had the breakthrough.
Mm.
I'm so proud of you, what you've been doing. And when you contacted me, it was an immediate yes. And yes, I think we have timing is everything. And I think if you're constantly feeding your soul and learning, then finally the subconscious is really open to change. So
Mm.
I think it's not anybody's fault, and it's not your fault, it's not my fault. It's
Mm.
basically your soul saying, okay, I'm ready to change. I finally got it. That's why repetition, and that's why I created this card deck.
Mm.
It's got affirmations on this
Mm.
deck that correlates to the book, but there's an intention with each card that you choose for whatever business situation, about mindfulness, kindness, communication. So you're really communicating with your higher self, and somewhere inside you, your subconscious and your conscious were maybe fighting against each other. I always say it's the good twin and the bad twin going, I can do it. No, I can't. I can't. No, I can't. Yes, So you have to, basically silence the twin, the bad twin. And I've had the opportunity to also interview a lot of well-known people in the spiritual world. I had the opportunity to work with Deepak Chopra and interview him. Also, Louise Hay, and she was the queen of spirituality. And she said to me, Gary, all the years I've been doing this, she said, there's still a voice that comes inside me that says, I'm not good enough,
Mhm.
or I'm not enough.
Wow.
And she said, I have to put it away. And she said, with all the books I've written, all the companies I have worldwide, I still have to do my affirmations. And
Mm.
her affirmations really work. I make business people say, today I'm open to receive great change in my company. Today I attract great new opportunities. And whatever the affirmation I customize, like a mission statement, is to help them to achieve the change. If you don't put a new thing in your mind, you won't attract something new. It's like a boomerang. If you whatever you're putting out in the world, it will come back. So it's the same with energy. When we talked about that your energy is your success. If
Mm.
you're putting out confidence, and that means mindset, energy, I'm positive about life, you're going to receive that. If you're putting out fear or lack, you will attract that in every area of your life. So once we, and I call it, Christian, the language of miracles. That's what I
Mm.
teach people when they start to change, especially business people, because they're not used to this language. They're like, oh, is that kind of weird? No, it's not weird. It's because we're talking about a basic internal mindfulness about being kind to yourself, giving yourself permission to trust yourself. I think trust is the biggest issue that individuals have, that they don't trust themselves. They don't trust, whether you want to call it the universe or whatever their spiritual, awakening is in their life or what they believe in. It's really, if you believe something, you will receive it. It's basically the bottom line.
Very nice, very nice. I love, by the way, I love your sparkling eyes. This is really great to look at them. And let's talk now about my development. If you compare me now with my younger self 12 years ago when we worked, what differences see you from a energy level, from spiritual aspects you recognize, but also business wise? Um, which differences do you see?
Yes, what I see different about you, Christian, and I remember when you came to see me for our first session in Zurich,
Right.
uh, there was an energy cap
Mm.
that was stopping the flow. And I've seen this with many business people, is when they start to open up, the energy starts to shift. So there's a brightness that opens up around them. And I see you have it now, but
Mm.
before it was capped. And
Mm.
I've had this with many business people. It usually takes a while for the mind and the body to accept this. But what I notice is, think of it as sunshine. There's
Mm.
more sunshine, aura, energy coming from you now than ever before. And not that it wasn't there, the
Mm.
volume was just turned down.
Uh-huh.
And so what I've noticed is your volume has really upped the standard, and the vibration is different. Just the vibration about you is completely different. And it's an energy. So if you're in the world of life, and it doesn't mean just for business, just when you meet a person,
Mm.
you're basing that conversation or that energy on the vibration of who they are. So yes, there is a big change in you.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. And by the way, I personally love affirmations, and I use this. I like also the teaching of Napoleon Hill's book.
Yes.
He also talks a lot of these things, and I didn't only read that book, but I heard it. So the audiobook in German, this was a horrible voice, and it was not a good voice. I didn't like it. Also because I said the person who speaks doesn't have money, so I did it myself, and when I was driving, I heard it 1,000 times to learn about this and to bring all these things in my subconscious mind, and I used affirmations, and I use also now with our clients affirmations, and the success, including the spiritual success, this is democratic. The the person who want and is willing to use these techniques, they are not complicated, but it's a difference if you do and believe and practice it constantly. So it's a huge difference over years, and I would say this is something which paid out in this difference you explaining very well. So affirmations, I think this is a very good source, helping a lot in this direction. So,
And
but
the
yeah.
other thing also that changed about you is your frequency.
Uh-huh.
Your voice changed. And that's just so important, is the frequency of a person when you hear them speak. And I have many real estate clients that I coach around the country. One in particular, when she speaks, even when she's at a showing or she's at an open house that's not hers, she can garner a client just asking a few questions. And
Mm.
she's actually sold a house that way because someone said, I want you. So remember,
Okay.
if and it goes down to energy, if
Mhm.
our frequency is set in the right vibration, not only are your words or your actions balanced, that everything you say is connecting to that higher source to be successful or to have that positive feeling come through. It's based on the frequency. And
Mm.
that's so important, because you'll meet a person that you say, that voice, when I first did my audios, someone in Germany took my one CD on trust, and she had her husband, the publisher had her husband, who was not spiritual, and he spoke my CD. It was awful. I was not even
Yeah.
wanting people to hear it because I said to her, this is terrible. So
Mm.
I ended up hiring a German actor here in Los Angeles who did it, and it was much better. And I even did one in Japanese. I had the Trust CD. I hired a Japanese, I did an audition. I hired I interviewed six Japanese people here.
Mhm.
One was a sushi maker, and his voice was so, and I said, no, sorry. And the other one was too high pitched. The other one, okay. The fourth man had a voice very similar to mine. He was great. So when people hear that CD in Japanese, I don't speak Japanese, but he was in the vibration that I wanted. And that CD sells all over Japan for many years.
Mhm.
Um, and so you have to understand, it's all about also connecting the frequency with your energy, your light, and your vibration. And that's the thing about you. You've connected all the dots, and
Mm.
that's part of the work. And the thing is to stay in the energy. I always say, once you're in that, you have the Wi-Fi to the universe.
Mm.
And so once you, meaning you have the password, that it's giving you opportunities. If you get into fear or anxiety, you lose the password, and you lose the connection with the internet. And the internet is the universe energy of opportunities, confidence, success. And when you're in it, you begin to flow. And as you flow, you begin to glow. And people go, oh, Kristen, you look different. What's going on? It's the energy.
Mm.
Energy. So that's the key. I tell everybody, your success is based on your energy. What are you doing to help change the energy? Well,
Mm.
there's many things that we'll talk about in the next segment. And
Yeah.
that's also wellness, exercise,
Mm.
eating right,
Mm.
thinking right is also the right news. So it's all correlation. It's all mind, body, spirit.
Great. And as you can hear, this interview is going deep, and it will go even deeper during the Euro Festival. We come now to an end, but your chance is, if you click on the link below the video, you can enter the Euro Festival, and we will proceed with a second part of this great interview. You just have to click on this link. And the good news is also, if you want to find out more about Gary, you find also his page below this video. And we will talk in the second part of the interview during the festival more about maybe we can go into one practice out of your book if you want, yeah, during the
Absolutely.
festival, a small practice part. Or what we also can do, we will go into the business aspect. Obviously, Gary is a life coach. which doing different things to the to other people. He's working globally. He built up a global business. So I'm interested in the second part also. What did you do to build that great life coach business on a global basis? So we will proceed on that and more interesting topics. So click on the link and go into that festival. Thank you, Gary, for coming to my show. It was a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
It was great. Thank you, Christian, and so happy to be able to share this information.
Yeah. So click on the link and we will proceed during the festival.